A to the K.
to the K.
To the K.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A2K Wrestling Show, where today we are taking you behind the lens as we welcome an incredible photographer and video editor whose work you will have seen for AEW, the wonderful Dani Venen. Dani, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, we're
We're
good.
great, thank you.
We're good, thank you.
So we could sort of kick off by, I suppose, asking how you sort of started your career in photography, really, sort of how you got yourself into the photography space.
Growing up, I've just always loved taking photos. I've always been so interested in movies and just like media in general. And my grandparents on my dad's side were huge into photography, mainly like nature photography. And they were the ones that gifted me my very first camera. I actually found footage of me from 1999 of me opening my very first camera at Christmas. And um, I just, ever since I was little, I just always loved taking photos and making videos with my friends and my family. Um, and I started taking it really seriously during the pandemic, like during 2020, when I mean everyone lost their jobs, and
Yeah.
I lost my 9 to 5, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me go full force on this. Like it was a blessing in disguise, and I have met some of my best friends through this community, and I'm so grateful that Julia reached out last year, and that I've been able to have such amazing opportunities to be able to work with such amazing wrestlers and just amazing people in general. And like, so I still can't believe I'm where I am today.
Wow.
That's awesome. So it's great, such a positive story to come out of that sort of situation as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you
Thank
talk
you.
about kind of working with obviously a bunch of wrestlers. So I've got to kind of ask, have you always been kind of a wrestling fan?
Um, Me being a wrestling fan is actually kind of a newer thing. My husband has been a lifelong wrestling fan, and when we first met 10 years ago, he showed me some of his favorite matches. He showed me the CM Punk Your Grammar Sucks YouTube channel, because that was his favorite wrestler at the time. And
Yeah.
and I thought that wrestling was really cool. I was so interested in the behind the scenes aspect. I mean, being someone who loves film and knowing how film is made, but I'm just like, how is wrestling made? Like how like what's all the behind the scenes aspect of that? Like with the producing and with it being live, like I also love live theater. Um and so we went to a couple watch parties for WrestleMania and SummerSlam. What's the other one? Royal Rumble,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and then we just kind of like just fell out of it. Like we weren't really like watching it week to week, and then we heard that CM Punk was coming to AEW, and we're like, oh, I've never heard of AEW. Let's just give it a shot. Immediately hooked. When when we watched All Out 2021, I'm just like, this is so cool.
Awesome. So, obviously, Carl sort of alluded to Julia earlier before, but was there a particular sort of photo shoot or moment that sort of got you noticed and started this sort of collaboration with those in the wrestling world?
It kind of happened like randomly over the summer last year. I had been liking a couple of Julia's photos, and then just one random Friday, I think, all of a sudden I just saw her in my notifications liking all my stuff, and she followed me, and like I was literally screaming. I ran to my husband, I'm like, and then a couple days after that, she messaged me and she's like, "Your work is so cool." I'm like, and then she's like, AEW is coming to Columbus. Do you want to set up a photo shoot? And I was gonna be out of town the day that they were coming to Columbus. Obviously, like of course that would happen. But we made it work in Lexington because that was like only 5 hours from where I live. And so my husband and I drove out there and we met up. We did 3 photo shoots together. And my life changed after that. I'm so grateful that Julia's in my life. Is like she's such a good friend of mine now. And like I think it's so cool to see her not only like be this wrestling badass on TV, but also just such a kind person that she is.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, seeing your most recent photo shoot, I've got to ask what's it like having Julia Hart on top of your fridge?
Never thought that would happen. I am honored.
I saw it. I think it was on what your Instagram story where you kind of called your husband in, and he just kind of comes in. It's like, oh, Julia's on the fridge.
Yeah. I mean, you could literally say that we were chilling. So
I love it.
Nice. So obviously, the majority of the fans will most recognize your work with the video with Julia and the porcelain masks. So just wondered if we could sort of talk about how did you go from the sort of photo shoots to creating those sort of vignettes on global television?
that was actually just kind of spur of the moment, honestly. When AEW was coming to Cleveland back in September, Julie and I wanted to do another shoot together, and I pitched to her those ideas, and I'm just like, oh, because it's spooky season, why don't we just create like a fun spooky video together? And so during the still photo shoots, I was taking videos in between, and so I came home, I edited it as fast as I could together, and I sent it to her, and she's like, we need to get this on TV. And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, I feel like this would work so well with a voiceover and like with a promo. And so she literally recorded it at the gym and she sent it to me. And I'm like, okay, let me put this together as fast as possible. And I think it was like a week and a half before WrestleDream. And I sent it to her and she shows literally everybody. She shows the entire women's roster. She shows Bryan Danielson. She shows Cody Rhodes, Tony Khan, like all the producers. And then she reaches out and she texts she messages me and she's like, this is going on TV. And I got a call from one of the producers, and they're like, yeah, we love your work. Like we want to show this on Countdown to WrestleDream. Not only did they show it on Countdown to WrestleDream, they showed it on the main show during Collision and twice during the pay-per-view. And now it is her official entrance video, and I'm just like,
That's so awesome to be.
It's just absolutely amazing. I mean, because of the success of it, like obviously it was awesome. Like as you said, like spooky season captured like the aesthetic and everything perfect. Has that kind of led you to want to do more video? And also, is there an opportunity to work with AEW again in the future, do you think?
absolutely. I'm currently in talks with a tag team to do a video, at least one video for the show. Um, Julie and I are always thinking of ideas to do videos for her feuds. I've been talking with Abaddon about doing a video with them. But I think it's more about like uh their availability, and it's just so much easier like when they can come to me because my studio is based in Cleveland or somewhere that's within driving distance, because sometimes it's really hard for me to travel and like bring all my stuff. But I'm trying to be better at that this year. So we'll see what happens.
So obviously you've sort of carved out a bit of a niche now in the wrestling world. Did you always intend to sort of get into this sort of space, or as sort of that work with Julia sort of changed the sort of direction you wanted to take your photography?
That was not initially the long-term goal, but because I'm such a wrestling fan now, I feel like it's like it's like what the heck, why not?
Yeah.
Because like wrestling just makes me so happy, and not only like the matches are so cool, but following the storylines and also just the wrestlers as people, it like just makes me feel just so creative and like just so happy. And it's such a huge honor for these amazing people to view my work and be like, "Oh, you're so good. Like I want to work with you." I'm like, "Why?" But like it's such a huge honor. Like it's like like I said, I still can't believe like where I am today. Like, I mean, me pursuing photography full time 4 years ago would never have thought that I'm working with so many wrestlers and getting my work on TV. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the all credit where it's due. It's all down to, your very unique and awesome style that you do. I think you say the weirder the better, which I think is really cool. I'm just curious, is there a moment or like experience that you had which kind of influenced that approach to kind of go with the weird and wonderful?
I think whenever I do stuff that's never been seen before or that's really weird, that always gets people talking. And I really love just like making people like turn their heads and just making people feel like oh this makes me feel something. It's like and also like I just love like just bringing just fun, weird ideas to life. Like it's like I've never wanted to just like fit into a box. Like ever since I was little, I I was always like just like coloring outside the lines, but like and coloring outside the lines and just using colors that people wouldn't really think of. And now that like it's my full-time job, I'm just like I might as well just go all out.
Yeah, love it. So I know this may be a hard one to answer, but do you have a particular sort of most memorable shoot that you've done for either sort of how fun it was or how it turned out for yourself?
Um, Definitely the first set of photo shoots I did with Julia, just because I had no idea just how much my life would change. Um, because so many AEW wrestlers have been following me after that, and like the opportunity has just grown so much for me after that. Um, but also I'd have to say, trying to think what's a photo shoot or a concept that has like I think. Last summer I did a really fun pop can roller photo shoot, and Olipop noticed it, and I started working with them from that. So that was a really cool opportunity. Um, but I feel like now like just like being being a wrestling fan and working with not only Julia but with Skye and Maria, Lady Frost, um, Leila Grey, like I feel like with each photo shoot that I do with someone new from AEW, like more opportunity just comes. Like the like whether it's with someone who's a more on the indies or someone who is more national. Like to me, like it doesn't matter like how much experience you have, how many followers you have, or if you're on TV every single day. Like if you're a wrestler, I want to work with you because you're cool, and
Love it.
we can create just such amazing art together.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got like a super crazy idea that you really want to do that you've not had the chance to do yet?
Oh boy. Trying to think. There's a really cool idea that I recently sent to Abaddon, and it was just an entire room filled with what looks like tar, but like we can make it out of slime. So if y'all remember the photo shoot that I did with Julia with all the slime dangling down,
Yeah.
imagine like 30 gallons of that.
Wow.
That would be really cool.
That
Yeah.
would be cool. Incredibly hard to clean up, but cool.
Yeah, be a good one for Abaddon's character as well, though, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be really cool. So obviously you mentioned some of the female wrestlers you've worked with, one of them being Maria Kanellis, and you obviously did an amazing shoot with her, looking back at a 20-year career. I just wondered if you could sort of talk a little bit more about how that came about and the experience with her.
Yeah, so she reached out to me shortly after I had posted the photos with Julia, and she said that she's been wanting to make a video all about her characters and her coming her up and coming from wait, what's the word? Um her development from starting out as a diva to now she's a manager and an agent the CEO in wrestling in AEW. She's so sweet, like she's so cool. Like she told me so much about her experience both in the ring and outside the ring being a wrestler. Like she spilled a little bit of tea with me, which I think was really cool.
Nice.
um but yeah, and
Just
like
like
she
sitting down with Maria, just like
yeah.
having a nice conversation with Maria. It's crazy.
I know, like she's getting her makeup done and she's like telling me all these like secrets, like, oh, I get to know things.
I
um
love that.
but yeah, like she just loved my style, and she's like, I've been wanting to find a videographer that could just like understand my vision, and I'm so honored that she picked me, because like that was just so cool.
Absolutely. We've also got to talk about two former guests of the show that we've had on as well. Leila Grey, Luke Kurtis. We saw the photo shoot you did with those two. It was like it was a bit of a change of pace, I suppose. Really glamorous, like something you'd see like jumping out of the covers of Vogue or something. So, what was that experience like, kind of working with those two?
They are the coolest people. They are so sweet and so funny. Luke is a huge SpongeBob fan, as am I. So like the whole time we're
Nice.
just quoting SpongeBob. Um, and yeah, like yeah, they're so cool, and just being able to bounce ideas back and forth off each other, not only for the current shit that we were doing, like with um all the jewelry and the money and the pearls and stuff, but then being able to also afterwards like send them ideas on Instagram, and being able to brainstorm ideas, like because I think it was like a month after I did the shoot with Layla, she came back and I covered her head to toe in glitter, which was so much fun, but such a pain to put on and clean up. But
Yeah.
it was so worth it. But yeah, like I love them. They're just so cool, so much fun to work with, and I really want to get the opportunity to work with them again. Like whenever they get the opportunity to come back up here, or if I get to go down there to Kentucky. I just love them. They're awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I just wondered if there are any other names, or do you have like a bit of a bucket list of wrestlers in the business who you might want to work with in the future, or you may be working with in the future? Because I mean, obviously, when we look at your style, there's certain names that come to mind. Like certainly for me, I'm like, I want to be cool if you like working with the Undertaker or something like that. But do you have a bit of a bucket list of people you would like to work with?
Oh yeah. I would love to work with Toni Storm. Like she is like my number one. I would absolutely love to make a vignette for her. Like, because she's just so funny and so creative. I would also
Yeah,
love to make a video for Bullet Club, because like their whole vibe is so funny, and I feel like we would just vibe like together for a video. I would also
yeah,
love to shoot with Soraya and Ruby Soho, Mariah May, um, Takeshita, Will Ospreay. Trying to think.
yeah. Osprey, a
Uh,
bit of a favour of ours there,
Oh yeah.
local lad.
yeah,
Ospreay.
my husband loves Will Ospreay. Like he's literally the coolest wrestler ever. Um, definitely want to work with Abaddon. Like we just need to figure out like our schedules
Yeah,
and our availability. Riho would be so much fun. She's adorable. I feel like we could create something like super cute.
yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think who else. 'Cause, like there's so many people I would love to work with. Like I'm currently blanking on names right now, but like you name them, I would love to do a shoot with them. Absolutely.
All of them. All
Yeah,
of them.
definitely.
So we saw you recently celebrated your anniversary by going to Revolution. So firstly, congratulations from us for that.
Thank
I'm just
you.
curious. I'm just curious what it was like being there live for Sting's retirement, and did you get to bump into like the likes of Julia or anyone that you'd work with?
What one more time? Can you say that again?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was
Like
just saying
yeah.
that. Yeah, I was just saying. Obviously, congrats on your anniversary, being there for Sting's kind of retirement match. I was wondering what it was like, and did you get a chance to bump into like Julia or anybody that you'd work with?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, Revolution was electric. Like I have never been in an arena so loud before, and I love the live shows. Like it just gives me life. There's so much energy in the crowd, but this was just unreal. Like my phone microphone could not pick up just how loud the whole arena was. And we were actually like fairly close. We were just one level up from the floor, like just to the right of hard cam. So we had a great view of everything. Um, I got to meet one of my favorite AEW photographers, Brainbuster. His name's Michael Watson. He's so cool. Like we've been chatting here and there, like over the past couple weeks and months, and so we finally like crossed paths. Like he was like maneuvering over for a shot, and he turns around and we lock eyes. He's like, "Oh my God, you're the Editorial Style!" I'm like,
That's awesome.
And then because Julie and I did our photo shoot the night before Revolution, um, and then it was during Sting's. It was during the last match. It was during Sting's match. All of a sudden, I see Julia just like running up to me. She's in a hoodie and sweats, like completely unrecognizable, and so like I'm able to reach down to her and I give her a hug and she's like, I wanted to come and say hi to you because I was trying to look for you.
That's
um,
awesome.
I got to wave to Lexi Nair. Like she wasn't able to come over to me, but we saw each other because we've been messaging back and forth as well, and like she follows me, and so I was able to wave to her and say hi. So that's really cool. That's really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Curious as well. Obviously, speaking of Revolution, you mentioned you're from kind of Cleveland. So SummerSlam just being announced. Do you reckon you might make an appearance for that?
Maybe. My husband and I have been thinking about it, and I think just because they're coming to Cleveland, well, it's almost like we have to go.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be fun. Like, uh, uh, will it be as fun as Revolution? We'll see. But
Yeah.
but like,
Must be a
but
different
I think
vibe when you're saying hi to a lot of the friends you've made as they're coming out as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from an in-ring performer point of view, I just wondered if I could ask sort of who's your favorite wrestler at the moment?
Um, I have a couple. Um, Julia, Willow, Juice. Um, oh my goodness, what's their name? Um, Hang on, I'm blanking right now. Oh my goodness, Takeshita. Takeshita's
Oh yeah, yeah.
awesome. Um, uh, Darby Allin, like yeah, he's so cool, and yeah, like Bullet Club is like one of my number one. I will like scream like a little girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention as well, obviously, you've got your creative thinking program. So you said that's kind of like a new kind of mentorship. So I'm just kind of curious a little bit about why you decided to set that up and what that's kind of like.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to be able to talk with and teach beginner photographers or photographers that have a lot of experience, just like photographers of all kinds of experience, how to step out of your comfort zone and create out of the box concepts, and why it's important to step out of your comfort zone. Like uh it's like trying new foods. It's like you don't know, you won't know if you like it until you try it. I know like there's so many photographers that love the light and airy vibe, or who like the dark and contrasty vibe, but like we gotta add some spice to it. Like, and obviously no shade, no hate to those photographers who love the light and airy or dark and moody. I went through all those editing types when I was discovering myself, and now that I know like my style, not only like the semi-true to color and like nice and grainy editing style, but also just being just weird, like just being able to express what's going on in here just on camera, like in person. Um, and also just being able to teach them like it's okay if you it's okay to not succeed right away. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to go slowly. It's okay to not know where you are in your photography career right away. Hell, it's taken me like 13 plus years to figure out my exact style. Like um I mark my um well, because I started doing photography like pretty regularly back in like 2011, 2012, and then it was like 2013 I got my very first DSLR. So yeah, it's taken me over a decade to really truly find my style, and like I want to be able to give that back to everyone. I want to be able to help you find your style, and like if you shoot alongside me, or if you just want to talk to me, pick my brain, or if you want to create a photo shoot from scratch and help me guide you on finding the right model and using the right lighting and then editing together, like that, like I just want to spread my joy and my creativity with you.
That's awesome. You
Yeah.
to give back like that. That's
Yeah,
really
it's such a
cool.
positive message, and it's better
Yeah.
than like you get people who are sort of
Yeah,
protective of their niche, but
Yeah.
you know, sharing. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So obviously you've had some amazing collaborations so far. As you mentioned, you've had your work featured on AEW TV. I just wondered if we could ask sort of what are some of your goals for the future?
A big goal of mine is to I feel like being able to take like a promotional photo for AEW, I think would be so cool. Um, and also just like I would love to meet Tony Khan. Like like I literally had a dream where I got to hug him and I cried. I feel like that like I know it's not like photography related, but it's like it's wrestling related, and
Yeah.
He is a hugger by all accounts
He
as
is a
well. He
hugger.
likes to hug.
Yeah.
me too. uh, um and I feel like just being able to make more videos um for the wrestlers, and like I would love to like be able to be not like a household name in AEW like behind the scenes, but like having people like mention my name and be like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Like I feel like that would be such a huge honor for like Soraya to know who I am, and I'm just like what like so like, just so cool. Yeah, like I would love to like even like be signed on to like do like some part-time video, part-time photo work for them. That would be just so cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Absolutely. I suppose lastly from us, I know you may have covered it a little bit when you're talking about the mentorship program, but what are kind of your top pieces of advice for anyone who's looking to kind of get into photography?
Success does not happen overnight. You may have a video go viral and you get millions of views and maybe thousands of followers, but followers do not equal success. And it is totally okay to just have like 20 followers and still have amazing photos. Because like think of it as like, oh, your photo gets 20 likes, and like in the large scheme of things, like having 20 likes sounds like, oh, it's a tiny amount. But imagine 20 people are in the same room as you complimenting you. That's a lot of people in one room.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so it's totally okay to start small. It's okay to go at your own pace. It's okay if you don't get recognized right away. Like it's totally okay to uh to get your name out like little by little. Um Also just step out of your comfort zone. Like if you're feeling stuck creatively, look at what other photographers are doing and see what's making them uh s- see what is making them them. Like find out like their editing style, their shooting style, like what kind of lighting they're using, what kind of angles they're shooting at, their lenses. Um and just be able to and figure out how can you incorporate that into your style. And also, it is not the camera that makes the photographer. It is you. It is your eye, because you can take an incredible photo on just your iPhone. So many people think that the more expensive the camera, the better the photos. No. If you're a beginner, don't just automatically go for the mirrorless Sony or the mirrorless Canon. It's okay to start on a point and shoot. Figure out the basics and then work your way up, because it is your eyes and your mind that truly make the photo.
Amazing advice. Dani, thank you so much for taking the time. We honestly, genuinely, really appreciate it. Can't wait to see all the super cool, awesome stuff you've got coming up as well. Before we let you go, can you just let everyone know how they can obviously keep up to date with you, the editorial style, and everything else you've got going on?
Yeah, so you can follow me on essentially all social medias at the editorial style, except for on Twitter, because that is at the real editor with underscores in between. And yeah, just follow my photography journey, and I'm also really funny on my story and on TikTok. So laugh along with my journey, and yeah, and also on my story on Instagram, you can follow me every day for the pun of the day. Today's pun is non-compares to you.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for taking
thank
the
you for
time.
being on. Yeah.